Morning all. Out for another wander in the woods. Rest day. Did want to get out for a run, but yeah, dropped the ball again this morning. I seem to be able to get up and out for a run and out of the house by 7 a.m. It's now about 12. So I had a bit of a fail. But I'm out. Need to do some more research, find out some more stuff for you guys. But it did occur to me, as I was sitting, trying to think of useful stuff, that just competency itself is massively undervalued. And then I started thinking about human history. And I guess certain skills become outmoded as humanity continues along its path. And yeah, I'm not the sort of person that could bring down an antelope or something like that. But I reckon I could come up with an idea for it. And although there will be an interesting segment coming next week, that needs to resolve itself. It's not a good idea having both hands busy. But yeah, it is a pretty weird thing that if you are competent in today's society and you carry tools or you carry a multi-tool or something like that, people really do freak out. Because they need simple rules on things that they don't understand. They don't like a lot of grey area, you know. But it's in the grey area that humans move forward. It's in the grey area that we excel. It's not in the black and white that's designed for everybody's opinion. Because nobody wants to talk about anything complicated, not in the West anyway. They want just like a vox pop or something like that. And I guess at this point in our history it's probably a bad idea to read something like Starship Troopers or The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, because those things deal with a degree of personal responsibility. For instance, you know, people are super paranoid about anybody carrying, you know, a reasonable amount of stuff with them when they go out. About people carrying first aid kits. About people, you know, like I said, carrying multi-tools or things that will get you out of a jam. People look at you funny if you carry a sewing kit. It is a very, very weird situation. You know, when I was a kid, we could all carry penknives. You know, probably the same with anybody watching this. And now, mostly as a result of poverty, mostly as a result of disenfranchisement, you know, giant corporations taking over whole industries and making lots of people redundant, and basically removing a lot of hope from some segments of humanity. You got this situation where violent crime is on the rise when it didn't need to be. You know, people not wanting to work, depressing call centre jobs or service industry jobs, not equipped to deal with a sudden loss in manufacturing. You know, and when you do that to the majority of your population, you don't give them anything else to do, crime rises. But a lot of those crime statistics are bullshit. You know, a lot, when you read a crime statistic, you know, generally speaking, violent crime is between people that know each other and cannot settle their differences. Some violent crime is robbery, which always panics people that have got lots of stuff and always creates a need for changes in the law. And it is quite something. It's quite strange. You know, a friend of mine was threatened with arrest for taking a saw with him to a local park to cut a piece of wood for his dog, because somebody saw it, lost their minds and called the police. It's really quite something. We're being driven into this sort of nanny state system, but we don't spend any time teaching our children how to be competent. And if you become a competent person, that's the downside, you know. The government hates capable people. It hates people knowing how to do stuff. You know, we've neutered the scouts. They've taken away some of those skills, and even the people that would seek them out. And I don't know what to do about that. You know, we're terrified that strangers are going to make off with our children, yet we're quite happy to destroy the planet that those children are going to grow up on and raise their children on, because we can't come to an agreement. Now there is a really big need for heroes. You know, when you look at the many social failings of Western society and the ideological failings of the people that are in charge, that absolutely do not want, especially the working classes, to have any sort of, you know, political capability or political fluency. You know, most people don't even understand how you go about getting elected. You leave school not knowing anything about how politics works or how your government works. You're just, you know, now go and work in a factory, or now go and work in a service job. Because all the good jobs, unless you are prepared to entertain the wealthy, or unless you have enough acumen naturally to be able to make money for even richer people, and even your working class successes are still shackled and still have to become part of that system and pay fealty to it to maintain the wealth of people that do not earn that money. The wealth of people who circle like vultures over people that actually do manufacture things, that do create. You know, not exactly earned by the sweat of their brow. And it is, it's messed up. You know, the current set of leaders that we've got in the UK and America, that's symptomatic. You know, that's symptomatic of people that believe that things will get better if they hate other people of their own class. You know, things will get better if the racism is allowed full reign, if homophobia is allowed full reign, and transphobia, and ever more smaller divisions. You know, now that at great personal cost to a lot of people, you know, civil rights have been amplified They need a smaller group that can be disliked, and a smaller group that can be targeted. And they know it. They know that if we target an ever smaller group, if we rail against concepts of political correctness, you know, I'm not saying it's all, I mean, I'm saying it's probably about 95% one-sided, and then there are a few people that are kind of fucking it up for any kind of organisation or any cohesion amongst the people that do the actual work by subdividing people and not prioritising. You know, but that's a very, 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 very tiny minority. You know, that's what you've got to understand. It's mostly punching down. And I believe the majority of people are capable of being sensible, but they keep buying the bullshit from people. You know? I mean, it's definitely something where if somebody tells you something, you need to ask what their qualifications for saying that are and how their paycheck differs from yours. You know, anybody in the millionaire camp, anybody that's got a sufficiently large amount of unearned income or who's inherited a great deal of capital has not suffered as you have. However, the person that you're being told to despise has suffered in a way that you have, in a way that you can relate to. Think about that. I feel like Cyrus at the beginning of the Warriors. We outnumber them more than 99 to 1. Probably hundreds of thousands to 1. You know, they're not the 1%, they're the 0.001%. We outnumber them, they know it. If we ever did, you know, and we've proved it in history. It's like the Helots proving it to the Spartans that they weren't to be underestimated, which caused Sparta to become an almost totally military-oriented economy. You know, it has to be said. From a modern perspective, the Spartans, if you lived in Sparta, the elite were the bad guys. The elite have always been the bad guys. They know they've got to be either ruthless or capable of dividing us. And I'm telling you, if you look competent, they will train people. You know, like the police, like the legal system, they will train them to distrust you. You know, your own fellows, the people that you would stand in the way of harm to protect, will look at you with a certain amount of distrust or incredulity, or not understand why you're trying to improve yourself. And that's what urban agoge is. It's self-improvement without all the bullshit that surrounds it. Without the, you can be a success at the expense of your fellow man. Whoop. I'll have to do that now. Sorry about the sound quality, I've lost another mic pop shield, and I do need to get some more mic clips. So yeah. Who do you trust? Well, part of getting fit and understanding how to feed your body and understanding how to feed your mind, right now, where you're sitting, with the number of subscribers we've got, you can trust you. If you've been following the course, if you've been doing stuff, if you've been going for a run or at least going for a walk and thinking and reading and eating better, start with yourself. You know, I mean, obviously on a social gauge, you can probably trust some people around you. But if you start telling people that you've been doing, you know, exercise and eating right and eating less red meat and learning about stuff, doing your own research, learning how to do things for yourself, I mean, seriously, you know, learn how to set up a computer if you don't already know. Learn how to build a network. Learn how to operate a radio. Not a receiver, a transceiver. And I think we might need to cover that again. There's some basic stuff about that in the original Rangers Tube video channel. We've been talking about things like this on the Church of Server YouTube channel. So yeah, it's important. I'm sorry the microphone's moving all around. Yeah, so you've got to look into stuff for yourself. What we're trying to provide is, jumping off points for your own individual research, and then if you find something useful, come back and tell us. If you're a subscriber, if you're just somebody that's watched this and you're just wanting to improve how you're doing stuff, just improve it for you to start with. This is the 6th week of this experiment. Can we do self-improvement without all the bollocks that goes with it? Without attending seminars, without needing to read a pile of books in order to wring out a sentence of usefulness. Sorry, just checking that they're still recording. Without all the crap. It's not particularly difficult. Here is roughly how brain chemistry works, Here is roughly how nutrition works. Here is roughly how exercise will work for you. How getting up early in the morning and, sacrificing that line for time when you can do things that actively help you. And yeah, we're all going to fall back. We're all going to have days where we just can't get our act together. That's alright. Every day is a chance for you to make a tiny improvement, a 1% improvement in your understanding and in your fitness. And in, your competence. But people are going to distrust you for it. So do be prepared for that. People are going to be looking at you sideways. Why? Why aren't you eating that massive pizza? Why aren't you lounging on the couch watching a Netflix box set? I'm an ordinary dude. I'd like to into some information, and I've got the means to share it with you. That's what we're going to do. It's a bit of a pep talk, I know. But maybe we need to be making our own pep talks. We need to be pushing our own buttons and getting ourselves moved along. And I'm at the end of my walk. So, see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, spread the word. Watch the videos to the end. Like, subscribe. Donate if you want the image quality to improve. And you want to give me some more time to be doing this. I'm on a 0 hours contract like a lot of you are. I can always reduce the amount of hours I work if there was a regular income stream. Just saying. You want more? I'm going to need more time. So yeah, let's get rid of this. So yeah. So, as always, thanks for watching, and do take care.